I'm far from a pro. So obviously Super Nintendo wasn't really what I grew up on, but I do love the Dr. Mario games. I think they're fantastic.
Congratulations! This game's winner is...
Welcome to GameChat, a podcast focused on eSports and all things game-related. Each episode, we interview an exciting guest from the world of gaming. From up-and-coming streamers to YouTube celebrity gamers, we learn and share together with our audience. So go ahead and jump in on this game chat. Now, here's your host, Daniel Scott and Lance Jefferson.
All right, good morning, Gamer Nation. It's your host, Daniel Scott and
Lance Jefferson.
And we have a special guest host with us as well, Michael Ebanks. You all know him from Gamers Bay. Today we have an awesome guest. We have Daniel Ibbertson, a.k.a. DJ Slope from Slope's Games.
Yeah. That's it, yeah, it's DJ Slope from Slope's Game Room. Thank you very much for having me, guys.
Thank you for coming on.
No worries.
Can you give our listeners just a little introduction about who you are and what you do?
Absolutely, yes. So I run the YouTube channel. The channel is called Daniel Ibbertson, but yeah, my main channel on there is Slope's Game Room. So I'm primarily a retro gaming, historic, documentary-esque channel where you're going to go there and find some crazy facts about games that you probably shouldn't care about, but I try and inject a bit of fun into them, you know. On top of that, I also do the series Kick Scammers, where I look into some dodgier dealings in the world of crowdfunding campaigns as well. I like to, find the very interesting topics in those areas.
Yeah. Some of them sound kind of controversial. Is that part of your strategy?
No, it works. My gaming content 9 times out of 10 isn't any kind of controversy at all. And it started because I just did a couple of cool video game related things on Kickstarter, but people just tended to love them, and it's just evolved into what it's evolved into. People love those crazier sides of Kickstarter.
Awesome. I think
not just Kickstarter. There are other crowdfunding websites out there as well.
Yeah. I think I might have seen a couple of those videos as well without realizing that was you as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's
yeah.
Awesome.
They do well.
And you're in England, right? Correct.
I am indeed. I'm in England. Yes, the very bottom right-hand corner of that big England island, literally right in the corner. I'm about a 10-minute drive from going to France. I'm very close.
Awesome. Oh, that's nice.
We were talking earlier as well too, and we were talking about we're located here in the Cayman Islands. And something interesting as well too is we're a British overseas territory. Mm-hmm. So we actually all have like UK passports and stuff like that. So we're all
awesome.
We're all actually free to be able to travel to one another.
Lovely.
Yeah. So if you ever want to visit the Cayman Islands, it'd be
this is the place.
Yeah.
Oh wow! Yeah, that definitely sounds cool.
So I guess let's jump into some of the questions and stuff. So Daniel, when did you actually get started doing your streaming? Like, how long ago has that been?
I don't stream too often at the moment. I want to get into streaming, but primarily what I make is just videos, as in these documentary-esque videos. I like to call them. But so basically, I started. It was just under 5 years ago now.
Okay.
I started doing about one video a month. That's what I told myself every month. I'd do one video a month. Sometimes that'd go into about 5-6 weeks. It'd push it a little bit. But first year, one video a month. I'd spend a very, very long time on those videos. After a year, I got my first little bit of money coming from YouTube. I mean, it was nothing, like $20 or something like that. I can't remember. It was ridiculous. But and then I started to see there's a possible future here. And I was really enjoying what I was doing. So if I double what I do, then perhaps I'll double what I get, So I did that, and then, the numbers on subscribers went up, the numbers went up, all these different things. And it just kept going on, and here we are 5 years later.
Nice.
And this is something you do full time now?
Yes, full time since December. I could have started a little bit sooner, but we had to do a little bit of saving up to basically buy this house so I can get my own office.
Awesome. Nice.
That's fantastic, man. We love to hear that stuff.
Oh yeah, it's such a rewarding job. Best job I've ever had.
I can imagine.
There you go.
Yeah.
It only makes sense that you go into an industry where you have passion, especially if you want to work, right?
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Otherwise, you're basically just gonna be in there for the short term. If it's just a money thing, that only lasts for a certain amount of time. So.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. You know what? Like the previous jobs I've had, primarily in sales and marketing, and as much as I enjoyed them enough, I always knew I wanted to do something more, which is essentially this. But at the same time, what I did in those jobs really did help me become the YouTuber I am. You know, I ended up doing not a lot, but I did a bit of public speaking, so I was quite good at talking in front of a crowd, which I need to do as a YouTuber. You know, going to conventions and whatever else I need to do, expos. I got very good at you know, promoting myself, and marketing. So I got very good on the Twitter side of things, that sort of thing. So that helps with YouTube as well. Sure. So all these little things I've done in the past has grown. I generally think if I didn't have those jobs, I wouldn't be successful as a YouTuber.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I love what I do, but I don't regret anything I've done in the past.
So with the marketing that you were doing, was it a lot of digital marketing, or was it more on the
It was a little bit all over the place. My manager was a little bit old school. He was a bit more get up on the phone, which is good because it helps with your one-to-one talking skills. But while I was doing that, I was going to a lot of events, learning, and in my own time, even on YouTube, just learning how to do digital marketing. You know, going on primarily things like Twitter and Facebook, a little bit of LinkedIn as well, stuff like that. So yeah. But primarily back then, it was phone based sales and marketing. So
you mentioned YouTube for a second earlier. Is that primarily the search engine that you would go to in regards to learning any new tricks and trades? Or?
For anything, I put up what was we doing the other day? I was putting up something to do with something that we was playing around with in our garage. Go to YouTube, and I fixed my sink in my bathroom by looking up a video on YouTube. YouTube's brilliant. Yeah. You can work out how to do anything. Yeah. And like in my first year of YouTube, I wanted to learn how to build up my subscriber base. Didn't really understand what a hashtag was on Twitter or anything back then, about 5-6 years ago. And I found a 5-minute, I wouldn't know where it is now, but I found a 5-minute video explaining how to search for related topics on the topics that you're creating as a video creator. From that moment on, it was hooked.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and it was only like a 14-year-old kid that taught me that lesson. Right. I don't know who it was.
They say YouTube is only the second largest search in the world, so it only makes sense that you utilize it.
Absolutely. Yeah. YouTube's fantastic. You can learn anything.
Something too that we noted was when we were watching your videos was like the quality that went into it in the research. So, it was very, very clear. How long does it take you typically from beginning to end to do a video?
It's hard. I've really nailed it down now, so I can get a good 10 to 15-minute video out. I mean, I'm always writing them right now. Like, for instance, I've always got about 5 or 6 scripts half written, and then when I get to a stage where I'm like, okay, I'm going to do a little bit more of that, and I add a little bit from here and there, and sometimes I'll find a bit of information about that franchise and I'll add it in. But once I've got to about halfway through a script, then I can bust the rest of the video out now in about 3 or 4 days. But that'll be in, but they're full 9 to 5 days, like they're hardcore days. But that's only about a 15-ish minute video. If I start getting into the bigger hour-long videos, then they can literally take anything from weeks to months. Like the Metroid. Was it the Metroid video? I think it was the Metroid video I did. That took over a month of hardcore work to do that video, but it paid off. It was a fantastic video. I got so much great feedback off that video. So like right now, I'm working on a video that will probably end up being 2 to 3 hours long as one single video. So at the moment, obviously, as you know, my videos I call them the complete history. In my mind, as a viewer, once you've watched my video on the complete history of whatever it may be, Streets of Rage, Golden Axe, whatever franchise I cover, they technically, as a viewer, you don't need to see any other video because I've covered everything. I mean, I'm sure hardcore fans will continue to go and see what else there is. But as a casual viewer, you'll think, I remember Streets of Rage, or type Streets of Rage, and my video will come up, and then there'll be a 30-minute video that tells you everything you need to know about Streets of Rage.
Exactly.
Sometimes when you come across a franchise that's so enormously big, you just start writing and you just keep going until every game is done, and that could take as long as it takes.
That's where that tedious work comes in, and consistency, right?
Yeah. And like I say, I wouldn't have that that mentality just to keep going if I didn't work in those previous roles.
You mentioned that you worked with several, you were doing some videos for a few franchises.
Mm-hmm.
Is there
a few different friends? Yeah.
Is there any
one of my
one?
biggest influences before I started doing YouTube. I watch a lot of channels that, I suppose I always put it as the same as when you start a band. Like no one starts a band without, you have to learn an instrument, and when you're learning an instrument, you take inspiration from that, your favorite band or your favorite drummer, whatever it may be, and eventually the band that you create is an influence of about 20, 30, 40 different, and it's the same with being a YouTuber. I took influence from a lot of different YouTubers, but one of my biggest influences was a channel called Larry Bundy Jr. I was really, he's a great guy. He's a great guy. I was really small, like a couple of thousand max, maybe even less. I can't remember. And I reached out to him on Twitter and just said, "Hey, check this video out." And he liked it. We became friends, and for a good couple of years, I edited his videos. He let me put my videos on his channel as well. So, and it was a way of promoting each other. Awesome.
What's the best part of being a content creator?
There's so many niches. It doesn't matter if you're into fishing, YouTube, gaming, whatever it may be on YouTube. And for me, I had a lot of people friends that are into gaming, but I was so niche with my. Do you remember that weird 80s game that no one remembers? And everyone would say no. So you go on the internet, and there's a whole flurry of people that remember that game. Right. They want to talk to you. Right. So when you start creating content about that, people start coming to you and saying, I have people literally on a daily basis now come up to me and go, give me suggestions for videos, or they may say, "Oh, do you remember this, Dan? Do you remember this, Dan?" And I'm getting into conversations with people all the time, which is what I wanted to do in the first place. I'm surrounded by nerds, and I love it. That's exactly it. And I go to. Last year I think I went to 6 conventions throughout the year, and I just get to meet all of these other these people that want to shake my hand and talk to me about gaming. I love it.
Being on YouTube for I think 5 years plus now, what things have you learned that you could share with upcoming YouTubers, like some tips that you've seen?
I don't know. Like I said earlier, you need to learn how to use social media. I've actually been to events where you do Q&As and people have actually genuinely asked me. I'm doing all these videos, but no one's looking for them. You do need to learn, take advice from other successful YouTubers, and learn how to promote yourself on social media, but do it in a way that isn't annoying. Basically, so I went through this phase of talking to people that I knew I wanted them to subscribe to my channel, because I know we had similar interests. So on the one hand, it's great because I'm essentially making a new friend, and secondly, hopefully that person will subscribe to my channel, and 9 times out of 10 they would, because I would be I keep bringing up Streets of Rage, but this is a perfect example. I would make a video on Streets of Rage. I would go to Twitter, #Streets of Rage, and I would find crazy amounts of people that are talking about Streets of Rage. Next thing you know, I'm just joining in with that conversation. And someone will go, "Oh, you're the guy that made that video." And then all of a sudden, there's a whole trickle of people that know, "Oh, what's this about them? What's this guy talking about?" So I would say, that's the bare bones simplest bit, but just learn how to use social media and learn how to communicate. Unfortunately, a lot of the time with YouTube, a lot of people start YouTube because they're not great with socializing outside in the real world, and that's not the vast majority, but there are people out there. The quicker you learn how to be a sociable person, I think it helps, even in the online space. The thing with gaming YouTubing is so different depending on what type you want to get into. When I tell my friends that are parents as well, got kids around the 5-10-year-old kids, I'm a gaming YouTuber. Like, oh, my son wants to do that. It's so incredibly different than what I'm doing. There's nothing against Fortnite players or Minecraft players, but it's just 100% not what I do. If I went to a Q&A with the top people that did Minecraft Let's Plays, it would be completely different answers to what I'm giving. Streaming is a completely different service. I'd say it's actually probably harder to be a streamer than it is to do what I do, because I'm a bit more niche, and there's lesser people doing what I do. If you go to YouTube and you type in something like Minecraft or like say Fortnite, and then look at the latest videos uploaded. You'll just be pages and pages and pages of people that have uploaded in the last hour. But then if you type in, like I say, Streets of Rage, I would still be at the front page months later. You know, so in that sense, I've got it easier. But then at the same time, there's less people out there searching for it. So I think you need to push. As a retro gamer, you need those numbers to be insanely high. To become kind of any kind of influencer on the social media space. I know other retro YouTubers that do. A few come to mind, but that would do like stand up in front of the camera and talk to you about the latest news, and then it would always be done in a way where it would be interacting with the crowd, trying to get people to comment back. You know, share this with your friends, that sort of thing. And even though I don't do that, I do that on social media on social media. So instead of me taking a picture of the latest game I've got, I would be taking a picture of the latest game I've got, but then I would be asking a question based on it. Is this the best this type of game? And then just let the comments go down, you know. So yeah, it's building up interaction. It's the same sort of thing, I think.
You mentioned earlier some of the events that you've been attending.
Sure.
What type of events have you been going to?
They're primarily all retro gaming based. So the UK's got a fantastic retro gaming scene that isn't talked about online as much as, say, for instance, you know, the NES and the SNES sort of thing. So in the UK, we had a lot more of a heavy emphasis on the home computer scene. So we're talking the Amstrads, the ZX Spectrums, the Commodores, that sort of thing.
Nice.
So when you go to these very almost run down events, they're brilliant. They're in these big I suppose not arenas, but these big halls. The main one I go to is a replay events, and it's fantastic. Just desks and desks and desks and desks with all of these really old, dusty old computers. You know, BBC micros and all this sort of stuff is brilliant. Obviously, there's a console space there, and there's lots of arcade machines. But they're fantastic. And when I go there, you know, you get to experience and meet people. Obviously, like I said, you get to. We do talks as well, so a lot of Q&As. People asking me questions like this, along with other YouTubers. That's primarily what we do. They're the main ones. I think they're like 5 of the 6 or so that I went to last year. I did go to one actually with Sega as well, at EGX, but that's more of a newer update. It's definitely more updated. It's all the games that are coming out. So I got to meet a lot of people that work in the industry there. And again, like I said, previous jobs, I used to go to conventions to, you know, back when I worked in IT, and you'd go and meet other companies. Because of that experience, I did the exact same thing. Sega took me along, and I went along, and I met Namco, and I met, you know, all of these other people like Ubisoft, just from the experience I've had in previous jobs.
Nice.
Right. That reminds me of like what Steve Jobs said at his famous speech he gave at the graduating, where he said the dots don't connect looking forward, but looking back. So. It's good. Yeah, that one reminds me of, like you said, doing these different things that all connect and help prepare.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now,
awesome.
Back to like something like the retro games. Did you ever have that opportunity to play like the TurboGrafx 16?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome.
Right there.
I've got one around here. I've got the TurboGrafx games down there. I actually got yesterday.
Are you kidding me?
So these are almost brand new, maybe a year or two old. Brand new TurboGrafx video games.
Wow, nice.
So people are still making games.
Oh, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, well, these are the TurboGrafx CD CD games. But I can't play these unless I have it on a TurboGrafx system. An actual fan of the show that created this game sent them to me.
Oh, nice! Shout out to your fan. That's awesome.
So it's cool. It's there's so much new happening in retro gaming. It's almost like, you know, when you see people walking around with like Rolling Stones t-shirts, even though they don't know who the Rolling Stones are. You know, like the whole retro scene is very much like that at the moment.
And my brother and I, we actually had the TurboGrafx console when it came out, and
nice.
And we upgraded it for the Express. So we basically traded in our console, and we got the express version.
Nice.
Which had like the little TV that so that was you can watch like a little cable TV while you're driving and stuff. So that was
living in the future.
Yeah, that was a highlight of our life.
Actually, one of my favourite videos I did was based on an unknown mascot that everyone seems to not know about called Johnny Turbo. He's become more popular in recent years, like being added into games. Okay. But that was the mascot for the Turbo Duo system. Okay. So if you're a fan of the Turbo graphics, you'd probably like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember Bonk's Adventure.
Bonks, yeah. I'll do Bonks eventually. I've been asked to do Bonks a lot.
All right, guys, we're gonna jump into a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're gonna get a game of Super Nintendo with DJ Slope. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned, guys.
All right.
You're listening to the GameChat podcast, brought to you by Gamers Bay, with your host Daniel Scott and Lance Jefferson.
All right, guys. So welcome back to GameChat. If you're just tuning in, we're here with Daniel Ibbertson, aka DJ Slope.
DJ
Slope.
We're just about to jump into some Dr. Mario. We were practicing in the break. The man's pro, but we're going to get
I'm far from a pro. So obviously Super Nintendo wasn't really what I grew up on, but I do love the Dr. Mario games. I think they're fantastic.
Well, let's just say Daniel has his work cut out for him today.
Right, here we go. Let's do this.
It's on, guys. Let's see if Daniel can hold his weight.
I already made a
DJ Slope.
How did it look,
Come on,
guys?
Daniel. Come on, Daniel. You gotta switch it up, man. There you go.
Oh man, I'm actually doing really bad now. I think it's got that pressure on,
Is that intentionally? Oops.
I've got to put hard to win back with the mistakes I keep making.
You don't have to worry about mistakes happening. They're coming.
There we go. I saved it.
There you go, Daniel. Let's make it a competition, Daniel. Let's go, dude. There you go. Set off.
Serious concentration mode.
Yeah. Everybody's in geek mode.
I cannot believe that.
DJ Slope look like he has that advantage over here.
You reckon? I'm making some pretty big mistakes.
Well, I guess it's kind of even on both sides, man.
Right, come on.
It's getting kind of exciting over here. Got my nail biting.
Oh, no way. There you go. You won for me. You got me to win.
Michael's the veteran. That's what Michael can do. Let's get one game of Michael.
Right.
Here we go then. Let's do it.
There we go.
D is to switch it, right?
Yeah.
Right, here we go.
This is gonna be a fast win, DJ.
Yeah, not very much so.
DJ Slope with the first win with record time.
There's a slight delay.
Yeah, there's a slight delay. Yeah.
Slight delay.
Yeah.
I know. I just realized that.
Spice coming through with the moves.
Clearing up the speed.
Yeah, I think this is it, man. This is it.
That was good though.
DJ Slope with the second win of the day.
Dang.
It's gonna be one of his new favorite games.
It's addictive. It's really addictive.
Well, DJ Slope, we really appreciate you taking the time to interview with us. We
had a blast.
Yeah, you dropped some knowledge bombs on us. So
knowledge bombs. I like it.
We're gonna take that and run with it. Is there anything that you want to leave with the viewers?
All I will say is now that it's a very harsh thing to say, and there are people that have actually managed to do well by not going by this advice, but a lot of people say that, I'd rather do quality content rather than a lot of content, but I actually think you need to do a bit of both. You need to be able to find the time somehow to put up videos at a minimum once a week, because YouTube will not care about you if it's less than once a week, and it needs to be at the best quality you can. I aim for my videos to be evergreen videos. So if people don't know what that means, it's basically videos that will stand the test of time, which is why I don't review the latest Call of Duty or something like that, because it would be very good for a week and then no one will care about that video in a week or two's time. Where I keep bringing up Streets of Rage, but Streets of Rage Complete History is a video that continues to stay popular for almost 5 years later. And that's what I try and make with my videos on a almost weekly basis. And I would just tell people, do as much content as you can at the very, very best of your ability.
It was a super pleasure having you on. And
thank you.
Look forward to having you on in the future again sometime.
Thank you very much.
All right.
It's another episode of Game Chat, guys.
Till next time, guys. Stay gaming.
Gamers big.
See you later.
Congratulations! This game's winner is...
Thanks for joining us this week on Game Chat. Make sure to visit our website, gamersbaycayman.com, where you can subscribe to the show in iTunes, Stitcher, or via RSS, so you'll never miss a show. We also have cool merchandise and tickets for next year's event. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes. Or if you'd simply tell a friend about the show, that would help us too. You can also find us on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. See you all on next week's episode of Game Chat.